هاي المقابلة اللي رح تحضروها هلأ عملتها مع صحفية اسمها جويون هونج. كتبت كتاب مع سويون لي. الكتاب اسمه الامتلاك، بالإنجليزي The Having. هم أول شيء كتبوا الكتاب باللغة الكورية وترجم للإنجليزي، وبعدين ترجم ل20 لغة بما فيهم هلأ ترجم للغة العربية. هذا الكتاب الامتلاك أو The Having من الكتب اللي كتير أثرت فيه، اللي كتير غيرت من حياتي، غيرت لمفهومي على كتير أشياء، إنه كيف إحنا بدنا نستعمل المشاعر والعواطف عشان نغير حياتنا، عشان نجذب الحياة فيها وفرة إلنا، عشان نعيش بغنى، غنى نفسي وغنى مادي وغنى روحي وغنى عاطفي، بيساعدنا إنه نعيش بسعادة، نعيش بامتنان، نعيش براحة من خلال بعض الأشياء اللي نغيرها بحياتنا، وخصوصا إنه كيف نتعامل مع المال، كيف بنصرف المال، كيف نظرتنا للمال، كيف نظرتنا لموضوع الوفرة. هذا الكتاب رائع جدا جدا، وبحب كتير انكم تحضروا هاي الفيديو، هاي المقابلة عملتها باللغة الإنجليزية وإلها ترجمة باللغة العربية، وبتمنى انكم تستمتعوا فيها، وبنصحكم كتير انكم تجيبوا هذا الكتاب لأنه أكيد رح يغير حياتكم، لأنه هو كتير غيرت أشياء فيه. Hello everyone! Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Jooyun Hong, a renowned journalist who's the co-author of the book The Having alongside the guru Yoon Lee. It's an honor to have you here, and I'm very happy to be interviewing you today to talk about your book The Having. The Having is The Secret Art of Feeling and Growing Rich is a groundbreaking book, a #1 bestseller in South Korea, where a financial guru shares the secret of building fortune by using emotions. The Having have been translated into more than 20 languages, and I'm so happy to say that Arabic is one of the languages it's been translated to with the title Al-Imtilak, The Having. And it has sold around 500,000 copies all over the world. I'd like to talk about the authors. I'd like to introduce Yoon Lee to talk about the guru of the rich. Yoon Lee has analyzed both the wisdom in Asian classic texts and 100,000 case studies to discover how to become truly rich. Starting in her mid-20s, she published books about the mindsets of becoming wealthy, and prominent publications in Korea began seeking her out for interviews, ultimately increasing her fame as the teacher to the wealthy. She has advised most of the founders of the first generations of the largest conglomerates in Korea, some of which have grown into globally renowned corporations. She has consulted with numerous owners and top executives of the top 100 companies in Korea. And now I'd love to introduce you. Jooyun Hong is an award-winning former journalist with 10 years of experience writing for prominent Korean publications. She also has a master's in business administration and finance from the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. She worked at McKinsey & Company as a director of external relations. It's an honor having you here. And I just want to tell you that I'm fortunate to have read this beautiful book. Your book, The Having, has changed my life, and it's a life-changing book. And to be honest, I have read tens and tens, or may I say hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. And I'm familiar with a lot of different concepts, but the way you have put the concept, the way the guru Yoon has put the concept, and the way you translate it into this book is incredible, because it combines very, very deep philosophy that I loved reading, along with simple tools and techniques that can really create a life of abundance. We're so used to books like that talk about having wealth and living an abundant life, but it has a lot of masculine energy. It has a lot of pursuing and seeking and visualizing and dreaming and living from the wealth. And that might be hard for a lot of people, because not a lot of people can imagine this and live it as if it's true, and especially that their relationship with money might not be very positive. They might have financial wounds and money wounds. But this book, The Having, your book, has really simplified it in a beautiful way. And I truly enjoyed reading parts of it that I'd like to share now with the viewers, who I highly encourage to read the book, because it focuses on the here and now. It focuses on your feeling of having now, and that's great. It talks about the having signals where you trust your inner voice, and with the inner voice you're able to make decisions, to knowing, are you spending out of having, or are you wasting your money? And that's so important. And there's also the having notes that are like a map to help you see how you're growing and see how you're, spending your money, appreciating your money, and enjoying what you have. And you can bring your fortune to yourself by feeling happy and feeling fortunate, and also in addition to seeking what you want. So there is seeking. You need to be efficient in doing that, but by maintaining the happy feeling, you actually attract your fortune to you. And I love the part about having an organic life view that Yoon talks about, where you can change your life and it's not a mechanical point of view. And because especially the unconscious mind, you can plant the seed of your fortune in the unconscious mind, and it becomes active in your life. But mostly I love the coexistence part, where you start by giving. It's a one-way giving. You do things for others and you maintain precious relationships. And it's really to be summed up, like the title says, through emotion, you can attract your fortune to you. And that's just a fantastic way of looking at things that is so different from what I've read and what I'm used to in approaching life and wealth. And what I really want to say, this book is not only about just attracting wealth and becoming wealthy and having a fortune. It's about how to live, a way of living in comfort, living in peace, living in happiness, living in gratitude, that brings a lot of happy relationships into your life and makes you just enjoy being alive. A great book. I salute you for this incredible book, and I'm so fortunate to have stumbled upon it here in Jordan, in this part of the world. And truly, Jooyun, I'm so fortunate to have you with me to answer these questions that I'd like to present to you.
Thank you for introducing our book such a beautiful way, and thank you for inviting me for for the interview today. I'm also very honored to have a conversation with you and maybe with your audience from the far east of the world, from South Korea. And then, yeah, you just beautifully put our books in summary. I can't really add more than that. And then I'm also very happy to share my experience as well as also Soyun's opinion about this book with your audience today.
Wow, wonderful. Because when I had sent you the questions, you told me that some questions will be answered by Soyun and others would be answered for yourself. So we'd appreciate you telling us what you will be answering, and I'd love to learn from your experience. Can you
Yes,
start
yes.
by telling us, how did you get to meet her, and how did this happen that you co-authored the books together?
So I was journalist for one of the largest newspaper in South Korea. And then I had a like some kind of social meeting with my fellow journalist. And when we have a conversation, I heard about a lady who has very deep insight and who studied like classical Chinese and Western like classics for a long time. And then those journalists describe her. She is very insightful, and they didn't see anybody like her. So I was very curious, and I was eager to meet her. So I interviewed her for our newspaper. And then at the time I met her, I just got to know that she is really totally different from anybody in the world. And then I learned a lot from her. And then after I interviewed her, I had a chance to study abroad and I just move on to my next life. And then my father passed away like several years ago. And then by the time I contacted her, and then we started conversation about wealth and how to live as a true self. And then after I talked with her about these topics, I was journalist. I wanted to spread this kind of good message with more audience, more readers in the world. So that's why I've decided to write a book, and it's my first book actually.
Oh, and what a wonderful start. in writing such a bestseller as your first book. So it
Yeah.
wasn't Soyeon's idea to write the book. It was yours. You were just interviewing her and you decided to write it. Because I
So
know.
I asked her whether I can write this book about this conversation, and then she said yes, because she also feel it's the right time for her to share this message with more like wider audience. So after we decided to write a book, and then I kind of like interviewed more, and also she gave me more detailed answer for the books.
Oh, wonderful. I read it twice already. So the first time I read it, I couldn't put it down. I was reading and reading and reading in like a day and a half. In 2 days, I finished it. The second time, I read it more slowly to grasp it even at a deeper level. And I noticed at the end of the book, you did write that this is when the light bulb stroke, where you decided that now you're going to quit your journalism, so you're being a journalist at the company and you're gonna start writing, and that's incredible. What I read about Soyun, that she read The Metamorphosis by Kafka at 6 years of age.
Yes,
I mean, that's a
yes.
very, very complicated book. And for her to grasp it at 6, and that's when she was known as the guru, even at 6 years of age. And that's what an incredible human being, what an incredible soul, to know all of this by that age.
Yeah, I mean, she's not, I would say she's different from anybody else. And then I wouldn't put it like as a genius for her insight, because she's very insightful and wise as well.
Yeah.
But she understands things differently, from very young age. So she started to study Chinese classics in Chinese characters since she was 6 years old,
Wow.
and then she mastered like those studies under several like masters in the country, and then she memorized all those cases during her, you know, teenage times. So she memorized like almost like tens and thousands of cases uh,
Wow.
by herself. So
Wow.
it's all based on case study.
Wow. Yeah. And you can see that the wisdom in the book, that I'd love the viewers to get the book, whether in Arabic, الامتلاك, or in English, the having. When I was looking at the other books, do you also in Korean write the having, or do you translate it? Because I noticed there's all the having in English and then other things in Korean or Chinese. I'm not sure, but you
So
use the having.
I wrote the book in Korean, and then I translate this Korean version into English. Also, I know I can review the English translation, and then this book has been published in the U.S. first, and
Okay.
then it was translated to other language from English to the like different languages.
Yeah.
And then after that, we published our book in Korea. So Korean book has been published like 2 years later than the U.S. book.
Wow, that is so interesting. Okay, good you mentioned that. So, with the concepts about wealth and happiness, how do you see your book, The Having, introducing a different concepts than other book we are used to about that?
So as you just described, having means just feel what you have at the time you spend the money. So when I first heard about this concept, I didn't really understand well, because I was kind of asking Yoon that if I spend the money, then the money will go out of from my pocket, right? So I'm losing money. Then how can I feel I have the money? And then she explained that you can spend the money because you have money. Focus on the fact that you have the money to spend, and then feel the joy of having that money to spend. So, for example, whenever I go like Starbucks in the morning, I just, spend the money and without thinking anything. But now, whenever I buy a cup of coffee, I can feel the joy of what I have. I have the money to buy this coffee. I have the money to buy this, I don't know, this pen and cell phone and anything. And I can truly, truly enjoy my what I have at the moment of every spending. And that's totally paradigm shift for me, because whenever I spend the money, I felt kind of guilty because my father kind of infused the thought that, spending money is not good. You have to save the money all the time. So whenever I spend the money, I kind of felt guilty, and that feeling was not very positive. It's more like negative feeling. But now, after I practice having, I can truly enjoy like having money, and then enjoy spending some very little money. And then I can, stay the moment when I spend the money.
Yeah, and I love through your book how you used your story, how you took us on a journey of even your father's life, may he rest in peace, even through his life and his father and his childhood and his facing his illness, and even how your mom was handling things. And I love how you truly, truly applied the concepts to a normal life that we all live, because a lot of us live like how you've introduced. A lot of us have that concept of money where you need to save and you need to take care of your money and use it all up, and if you overspend you feel guilty. I mean, that's very common. I'm sure not amongst very rich people, but for the rest of us, that's very common. And can you tell us a bit about the practices in the book?
Can you repeat this? Your question was kind of cut.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the practices of this philosophy in the book? Just some practices that you've been using, some practices that you've written about in your book.
Yeah, so I practice having like whenever I spend the money, like a single dollar, I just feel the joy of spending money. So I can kind of like feel the money I have whenever I spend just the small amount of money. That's how I practice the having. It's just simple. And then also, when, as you just described, when you send the questions before our interview, I show the questions to Soyun, and then she answered some of your questions. So Soyun explained about this question as well, so I can,
Yeah.
deliver her answers to your audience. So she said about the daily practice, she said, feel having whenever you spend the money, which means be present in the moment. This moment itself is a meditation on money. So she described it as a meditation on money. Having is also noticing about the present moment, and it's different from the law of attraction. Law of attraction basically assumes that we don't have enough money at this moment, and it is based on the people's complex of not being able to reach. And as you just described, most people do not have good emotions about money, and they feel negative emotions when they spend the money. And those kind of thoughts reinforce these negative emotions. And then Soyun said this is not a good way to engineer your financial luck from her case studies. And having is realizing that you have money in the moment when you spend the money. In a way, it's like a meditation, and it's about awareness of the presence of money.
Yeah.
It's about being mindful, and it's same concept as meditation. And then she also thinks having is kind of purifying your negative emotions about money. It's like pouring clean water into a cup of full of bad water. Bad water means your negative emotion, and then you pour the money pour the pure water into the dirty water. And
Wow.
pure water means having is like positive emotion about the money.
So the pure water is the appreciation of you have versus the unclean water, which is the guilt and fear of spending at the moment.
So it's basically replacing your emotions about the money
Yeah.
from negative to positive.
Yeah. And can you tell us a bit about the having signals? Tell us about
So
this.
having signal
Even using
means
the gesture, maybe the
yes, it's like this, and then and
on the right
actually you don't
side.
have to. Yeah, you don't have to do this actually. And when she said you can just feel it as as
Is
as
it an
much as you
antenna?
can,
Is it an antenna? What is it for? It's
and
an
then she thinks it can be these fingers can be antenna to
antenna.
the energy, but you don't have feel pressure about like doing action like this. This is kind of one of the ways you can practice having.
Yeah.
And then from my experience, I don't do like this outside. I don't do like this in the Starbucks,
Okay.
but sometimes I feel anxious or I need more kind of some action to reinforce my emotions because I can suddenly feel anxious about the money even though I practice having. Then I can do actions like this. It kind of reinforce me. I'm practicing
Okay.
having, so it kind of works in that way.
Yeah. You know, I want to tell you about what I've experienced because the minute I read it the first time, when I just went through it in a day and a half, I got my having notes. I forgot to bring them here and a very special notebook with the same color pen. And every night, ever since then, I'm filling my book, my notebook with that I have money to spend on this and that, and then how I feel. I have, and then I feel. And not only on money, I would write, I have health. You know, I would say I have money to buy from the pharmacy what I want, but then I have health and I feel great about my health. So I've combined them both. But where the problem is for me, we're so automatic in spending that when I'm at the pharmacy or the grocery, and I want to spend, when I take the money out of the wallet, I'm not practicing the having. I pay automatically. I don't feel good. I don't feel bad. I feel, I bought this, I'm going to pay. I don't have any feeling, neither good nor bad. And then at night, I would write, oh, I spent this. I haven't reached the point where in the moment of spending, I'm in that state of having. Even though I meditate, I've been meditating for 10 years, but I'm still not able to reach that state. Can you help me with that? I know it's Sooyeon is the one who answers these questions, but from your wonderful experience with her, from your wonderful experience of success doing this, can you explain how that can be overcome?
So when Soyun got some similar questions from Korean readers, she said you don't have to feel pressure to practice having every time you spend the money. That's the another pressure and it can be obsession.
Oh,
So she said like one time, two time a day when it just come up, that's enough, she said.
okay.
So but instead of like practicing every moment of spending money, she gave a good tip to practice having. Is You can with a small luck, you can have some small luck after you started practicing having. For instance, you can get some free gift from the restaurant you go, or some free dish, some free samples
Yeah.
from the retailers. Then you intentionally feel very joy about those very small loves. And that's how you can amplify your feeling of having. So feel the joy fully when you have an opportunity to enjoy your small luck or enjoy the feeling of what you have. But she said you don't have to feel pressured. And also about the having note, she recommended to write about those experience on the note and to write down those positive emotions. But from her answers to Korean readers, she said you don't have to feel pressure to write a note every day. Maybe once in 2 or 3 days is enough.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
so just feel and be immersed in that feeling at the moment of practicing having is the key.
One thing I want to tell the viewers what I've been doing with the signals, where you wait for the signal. If you feel comfortable, you buy it, and that's a green light. And if you feel uncomfortable, red light, you don't buy it. And so I would sometimes when I go online shop, especially online shopping, and I get really a lot of adrenaline, and I start adding to the cart and adding to the cart all the time at the checkout. I would stop and feel every item, and any
Yes,
item
yes.
that I feel it in my stomach. Usually, any item that I have this uncomfortable feeling in my stomach, I delete, and that has helped a lot. I love that signal of green light, red light shopping, and I would love for the readers for the viewers to get the book and read the details so they can apply that concept because it's wonderful.
So as you practice more and more those green light and red light, so if I can explain once more, when you feel green light, which means having, you feel comfortable about the things you try to buy. And then when it's red light, which means it's not the thing you truly want. maybe you try to buy those because it's on sale or somebody
Yeah.
got the same thing and all different emotions from
Yeah.
your inside. So then you feel, from my experience, I don't feel comfortable with buying those, or after I bought those items, I just regret it. So before you buy the those things, when you go, as you just described, you just go over those items, and then some items will give you some kind of not very good feeling. Then I also delete it, and then as you practice more and more, it I can naturally differentiate which thing I want or not. So now I would say I buy the things which I feel comfortable, and then which really help me to lower the kind of impulsive
Yeah.
spending.
Yeah, same here. And from your experience, can you tell us about stories of success for people who have employed the having concept and they've reached wealth and they found their fortune found them? Can you tell us stories? Some stories.
Yeah, so we got really a lot of email from all over the world, from European countries, US, and from EU, Middle Eastern countries, also all those Asian countries, and they all share their stories about practicing having. So there are so many people who said that they got great luck, good luck after they practicing having, such as they got a dream job, or they got investment for their company, or they can grow their business. So some people said that there is one reader said she now she has more than 1,000 employees. After they practice having and then work on their business for 2 or 3 years, they can grow their business very quickly. So she kind of sent me a very nice email to Yoon. And also, there are people who said that they improve their health with practicing having. So they
Yeah.
can, yeah, they share kind of very touching stories that they have hard time, like, after they got some kind of some disease, some illness, and then during the in the hospital, they share our book with other patients, and they all kind of gain some kind of very positive emotion after read our book, and then it really helped them to improve their health.
Wow, I can see that. I can see because it's not only about money, even though it's, the feeling, the art of feeling and becoming wealthy, but it's, yeah, I can see that for sure. I would like to talk a bit more about the concept, the deeper aspect. Soyun Lee clarifies how comfort is felt when behavior is aligned with the soul. Can you explain the connection to the having signals? How that feeling is aligned with the soul?
Yeah, so she answered that the having signal is not just about feeling comfortable with money deep down in your soul. It's also about making declaration for yourself once you put into action. So when you do having signal, it's kind of like declare for yourself that you are practicing having.
Oh, so as if you're declaring to the soul, or the soul is guiding you to declare. Like it's an inner
So
voice.
yeah, I can interpret her answer that you declare to your soul. That's how she described.
Okay, wow, that is so interesting. Also, in the book, Soyeon Lee talks about cutting off bad relationships as they bring misfortune. Can you explain that? And also this concept, the Gyun. Also, if you can explain the bad relationships, how
Yes.
they bring this misfortune, and also the Gyun or Gyun, that I don't know how to say that word.
So it's in. Gui is in Chinese character
Kui.
precious. It's like a jewel or those kind of thing. We say gui means precious. In means in Chinese character is a person. So gui in means
Oh,
precious person. And then people just say, talk about queen, which means the person who can bring good luck to me, or to bring good things to me. So there are many different kind of people you can meet, and there's bad people, and there's queen. And through Gin, you can easily attract good fortune. That's how Soyeon described about these two different concepts. And then from your question, Soyeon answered that whether it's good or bad, you can exchange energy with people. And it can be related with money or not. And we are exchanging energy with queen or bad people. And it's important to think about what I can give before I figure out how to find queen, because as you just say, it's uh, interactive kind of energy. So she said that it's right to think about what you can give first instead of what I can receive first to meet queen. And uh, if I for example, if you give something to somebody a little, and then if she return those small thing in a bad way, it's kind of vicious cycle. It's not very good. It's more like bad, connection. And then if you give small thing to somebody, then it when she or he return it in a better way, and there's a sign that it can be virtuous cycle. It can be good connection with you. So she interpret these kind of things as an exchange of energy. And then the bad thing to meet queen is you can think about what you can give first, then see how those things is coming back to you.
Wow. So you give without the intention of receiving. It's like a one-way giving. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
something you've written in this beautiful book that says when you're thinking of taking, you're always expecting as you're expecting to receive. That's when you might attract bad relationships. Am I understanding it right?
Yeah, so when you just think about receiving something and to meet people with those intention, and it may attract bad kind of connection. And
Yeah.
then in the book, Soyun said that bad connection can give you some kind of sweet things at first. So it can mislead you. So those kind of bad people will kind of give you good things at first, and then you can kind of misunderstand he or she is a good connection with you, but it's not right.
Oh, and that's when you cut them off because she said cut them off. It's like, oh,
Yes, right away, right away.
cutting
Yeah,
a lot of people
yeah.
off. Okay.
Do not hesitate to cut off those people.
Wow. Wow, because it will bring bad fortune to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Another concept that's very interesting but somehow a bit scary, which is the Saturn return, where Soyeon Lee says that there are two phases in your life between 28 and 30 and 58 and 60, where there is a time where you break the shell, where you're just knocking from the inside and the world is knocking from the outside, and that's when the shell is broken and you make a quantum leap. And I love that. But what if we miss on these phases? What if it's past and we've not done anything about them? Have we lost our chance to make that quantum leap and become wealthy?
So, Soyun said the Saturn return is important because our souls have lessons to learn from the various events of life, and Saturn returns are an important time to reflect on those lessons. And in the book, she said, even though if you miss those opportunities to break shells, to break yourself in those periods, as long as you can remind those lessons, then you can always break shells uh, from your inside. So even though you miss those time, you can remind those lessons. You can remind those lessons, and then you realize those lessons, and then you kind of practice what you have to practice from those lessons. Then you can also utilize those luck from Saturn return.
Oh, so that's a phase where you would be lucky during those phases. You're going to be fortunate during. It's not. I understood. I don't know if I should ask you this, but I understood that this is a tough phase where you become lucky, right? It's a tough phase that you go through, and you become lucky to attract your fortune. Or am I
No,
misunderstanding?
it's not right interpretation. So Saturn return means basically Saturn is a very strict teacher. That's how she described.
Oh,
So from the age 28 to 30 and 58 to 60, most people go through some kind of difficult situation. And she described this kind of thing happen because your destiny wants to teach you what you have to learn from those experience. That's why the Saturn is called strict teacher because Saturn is teaching you with some difficult situation, not an easy way. And after you go through those kind of times and with learning what you have to learn and you can make quantum leap, you can have a big jump in your soul because that's another opportunity for you to make kind of a um, big jump
wow.
on
And
yourself.
but and what she means to learn, like to learn about money or to learn about life, to learn about yourself, to learn about others, is that what she means? Like all kinds of learning, or just
Yes.
money?
No. It's not about money. It's about many things. So the topic can be different, and then it can be about yourself, or it can be about people. It can be about money, and it can be all different topics. So the topics are not limited to money, and then you need to figure out which topic you need to go through, and then what is the lesson you need to learn from those
Wow,
experiences.
that is so interesting. And how is that done? You sit and you think and you write and you take notes, or you pray and you find the answer, or you meditate, or did
Saturn return.
yeah.
Um, well, I kind of missed that period. When I met Soyun, I already passed that period, so I I can vaguely know what I had to learn. And then usually when I talk with people who went through those periods, they really have hard time. They really had hard time. And then when you uh just have an attitude, I just I just have to be patient with this uh, experience, then you can really learn many things. But when you actively go through those events, and then when you try to find the lessons, what you have to learn from those events, and you can learn. When I talk with people who went through Saturn return, they all say it was very hard. Something happened, usually something happened, or something happened inside or from outside. So it's not about like just writing things on the desk. It's not like that.
Yeah. I'm about to embark on the second one, 58 to 60. But
Hmm.
even now, if I'm to look back at 28 to 30, I can tell now that you said it. Now, as you're talking, I looked back at 28 to 30, and I remember it was a phase when I wasn't thinking of myself, and all my thinking was on the outside. I just want to do everything for others and please people and have them approve of me and love me, and I just neglected myself so much. So by the early 30s, it was so hard, and that's when I made a major shift in that area, where it's a balance
Hmm.
between taking care of myself
Hmm.
and doing things for others. But it has to be with me, starting with myself. So now that you said it, I figured it out. Now that you mentioned it. So that's
Yeah, yeah.
so interesting, and it's not related to money.
Mm.
Wow. So, what about the organic view that
Mhm.
you've written in the book? Can you explain to the viewers the difference between the organic view and the mechanical view?
So in our book, I just described the mechanical view. You are separate from the word, so you can't really influence anything to the word. The word can't really make change to yours. It just happen independently. That's mechanical point of view, and organic view is more like, I would put it, more Oriental thoughts. And Asian people thinks we have some kind of interactive connection with the world
Yeah.
and nature, and then we can influence to the world, and also the world, our circumstances can influence us inside and outside. That's organic view. We are connected with each other, to the with other people and with the world. And then Seoyun said about this mechanic view and organic view, you are not a part in a factory machine, but you are a butterfly in a theory of chaos that can have a butterfly effect on the whole world with a small flap of its wings. That's her answer to your question.
Wow. So one thing I might feel or think or say or be or take an or behave in will affect the whole world and affect especially the world around me and even the whole world. So what she means is that mechanical view where I can change my life and I can change the world through my
Yes.
emotions and through my thoughts.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Wow. There's a quote in the book that Soo-yeon says, the key word is emotion, as it is the energy connected to the life force and can change reality. It's the energy that the universe grants you. Can you clarify a bit more about the feeling wealthy and feeling the joy while spending rather than feel guilty? Because a lot of us, because we're focused on fear and the world is, run by fear, we feel guilty when we buy things, especially if we're mothers. If we buy something, we should have bought it for our kids or for the home or for the savings or for the future or for the trip. Can you talk about that a bit? About the joy of spending and the feeling, the emotion that's the life force in creating your reality.
So that's actually the whole concept of the book I described. But she said, as I just described about the organic view, world view, we are connected with the world, and then your emotions can influence your circumstances. So as long as you have positive emotions on money, especially spending money and on wealth, then you can attract more wealth to your life. That's her basic explanation about the concept of having. And also, you feeling emotion is like a muscle. So when you feel positive emotions on money, at that time you don't feel negative emotions on the money. You can't feel positive and negative emotions at the same time. So when you practice positive emotions more and more, then you can give more positive energy to your wealth, and it can reinforce your financial luck as well. That's how she explained in the book.
Wow, that's so interesting. And if we're going to talk about the philosophy a bit deeper, do you think that philosophy that you explained, does it fit every culture, or is it more appropriate for some cultures versus others?
So Seoyun gave an answer about this question. And then she said, absolutely, it can work well for every culture, but from her experience, having works better with religious people and in religious culture, because you are not just attached to the mechanical, materialistic worldview that you see in front of you, but when you have religion, you are aware of the larger universe and the principles of spirit that encompass it. Also, if you have an understanding of soul, you can understand having on a different level and apply it to various aspects of life. So having works better for people who have a religion.
Okay. And so in having, you're grateful to God for what you have, and in being grateful, it creates a feeling of happiness and joy and comfort. And through that energy, you attract more fortune to you, and you attract even a queen, right?
Yeah, queen. And then I think I can interpret her answer that it's easier for people who have religions to practice having, actually, because they are already believer in their gods, and also they are more accustomed to listening to their emotions and their soul's voice.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of emails from Christians or Buddhists or who have religions, and there are monks who sent an email, and they all said that the concept of having is aligned with their belief.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's aligned with I think with all religions. And I want to ask you: does Soyin believe that it is a bridge between spirituality and consumerism? Because we're either consumers and hopefully producers, and we're just consuming more and more, or we feel we are spiritual people who want to live a life of simplicity. Is can it help be a bridge between spirituality and consumerism?
Yeah, and Soyeon gave an answer to this question that she thinks it is a bridge, as you just described, and then she considered it one of her life's mission to correct the misconception that the pursuit of spirituality is linked to poverty. So she doesn't believe that being spiritual means poor. She doesn't believe that. She thinks it's not true. And then also she doesn't believe that only suffering brings enlightenment. You can be rich and you can be spiritual at the same time. You can be rich and you can be more enlightened in comfort.
Wow, I love that she said you don't need suffering to be enlightened and to become rich. I love that.
No.
And you can be spiritual and rich and living in comfort and peace. That's beautiful. And also, what I love, I want to ask you about is that a lot of the times in understanding wealth, it's about planning for the future, visualizing the future, living from the future, acting as the future has already arrived. But the concept in your book, the having, is different, right?
Yes, it is different. We are focusing on the present moment instead of focusing on the future. So there are lots of reviews about our books, and then there is a one reader who said that after I learned law of attraction, I spent 10 years just practicing visualization, and I try hard and hard to imagine what I don't have, which totally didn't work for her. But now after she learned having, now she can easily practice what she already have. It's just such an easy
Wow.
practice for her.
Yeah.
So now she realized what has been wrong with her practicing those visualization. And also Soyun gave an answer to this question. She said having is not a part of the law of attraction. Visualizing a better future or obsessive imagining of a better future can bring obsession. Obsession always creates karma, which can be something that harms you or your family. Mindfulness does not create karma. Having is awareness and mindfulness, being mindful, and this is not an obsession. This is rather a way to feel the fullness of who I am in the here and now, and to feel the abundance of who I am, the God given abundance and good fortune that I have. Mindfulness and manifestation are different.
I love that she said it's awareness and mindfulness that will help you to know who you are. Oof, that's amazing. So how can that help you understand yourself and transform your identity?
So, well, my answer can be not very correct, but I can share my experience. So when I practice having, I can feel what I really want, as you just described. It starts from spending money. You can feel you don't want this item, you want this item, and I can listen to my inner voice more and more. And this kind of practice really helped me to listen to my inner voice in a different level. So whenever I make a decision, I try to listen to my soul and what I truly want. And then I realized that I was distracted by many different concepts of the from the word and the noise of the word, and I didn't really focus on what I really want from my inside. So after I practice having, I focus on my emotions at first whenever I make a decision, and it really helped me to be very clear about making decision. It really helped me to find what I truly want and to be close to my true self. That's from my experience.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I love what you said. Thank you so much. To talk a bit about you, I want to say, as I was reading the book, the flow of your writing, your boldness, because you would ask the most honest questions. You would show when you're confused. You know, there were times I laughed, there were times I teared up as I was reading your story and how you talked about your transformation. I loved the simplicity and the transparency and the honesty and the humor with which you talked and how you described everything. I mean, you feel that we're living with you through that journey. How has it transformed you? I mean, I salute you for what you've written, but why do you think? I mean, I'm sure Soyeon Lee saw these wonderful traits in you, but what did she see in you that is for sure so wonderful that got her to co-author the book with you?
Yeah, I mean, when I first met her, I didn't really realize our connection can be this long and deep. But when I first met her, when she talked with me, she kind of smiled like this, and then she was like this, and then she now she told me she knew that we could have kind of this kind of long connection, and then also she kind of had a good impression on me because she said I have a innocent soul, as she described, not from myself.
Yeah.
And also, she sees I have a loyalty to people. I mean, she thinks loyalty is very important for people to really pursue something. And then at the time, she told me, we have a chance to write a book in your 40s. So I said, Then, but now she confessed that she didn't know this is the book
Wow.
that we can write together. She didn't know that fact at that time. So now she said that's the beauty of destiny.
Wow. Wow. And you must have been so happy to have had this experience with her and spent time with her and learned from the best, like from this wonderful guru.
Yeah, it's really, really amazing opportunity actually in every moment because I can ask any questions which kind of arise from myself, and I can talk about my kind of emotions and feelings, and then she can really give me the best answer from where I can't really find all around the world. So I feel I'm very fortunate to meet her and then to work with her.
Yeah, and also your style of writing made this book extremely successful as well. Your writing skills, the flow, your honesty, your boldness, your transparency, your vulnerability really contributed so much to this book being successful. Has it changed? Has it transformed your life?
The book itself?
Yeah. I mean,
Yes,
the
of
whole
course, it changed.
experience, the book and the knowledge and all of that, the whole experience.
I would rather say, this book has been the one of the biggest hit in Korea in the year of 2020, and then it was on the top number one bestseller for more than 10 weeks in Korea. So I got interviewed by journalists or YouTubers and many people, but for me, for myself, the success itself is not that important, but I think the lesson itself really changed my life and my emotion. So now I feel a lot more uh, comfortable about money and many things. And I would say I can be better mother because my emotion is more stable. And also I feel kind of very satisfied with being myself at every moment, and it really really gave me a lot of joy and happiness and comfort.
Yeah.
So the lesson itself really changed my life, and the success of book I really appreciate it, but I was just delivering her message, Soyun's message, so I didn't really, make an important role.
Well, your writing, your wonderful writing skills got this concept to be so easy to understand because of the way you've written it. So it contributed, I'm sure, so much. Because I
Thank you.
really loved reading your style. And do you have another project? What is your next step? I mean, are you doing anything together again?
So Soyun and I are writing a book. We almost finished writing our second
Oh,
book, and then yeah,
wonderful.
it'll be published in Korea first, but for sure we'll publish in other countries as well. And this book is about anxiety.
Oh, that's
So
wonderful. So well needed.
yeah, so Soyun said anxiety is not a negative emotion. It can be signal to find good fortune from your destiny.
Ooh.
So she beautifully described how you can recognize anxiety as a signal of your destiny, and also how can utilize those anxiety to find good fortune from your life.
Ooh.
That's the topic of our second book, and then yeah, maybe next year it'll be published overseas. I don't know, but we will publish this
Wow.
book in Korea first.
Wow, that's wonderful. I can't wait for it. How your anxiety helps you to attract your fortune. Wow, I can't wait to get it. And so hopefully by next year we'll get it in English. We'll hopefully by
Hopefully, yes,
2025. But you'll publish it 2024.
yes, yes.
Oh, that's incredible. I wish you all the best. Is there anything? I hope I didn't ask you too many questions. I'm just so curious about a lot of in this book. Is there anything you'd like to add or you'd like to say before we have, the closure for this interview?
So I really enjoy a conversation today, and it's great honor and pleasure for me to be connected with many readers all around the world. And also, Soyun has very um, um, she wants to be connected with more readers in Middle Eastern countries. So if you receive feedbacks or reviews from your audience, we'll appreciate to read those reviews about our book. And also, I'd like to hear more of you and your audience thoughts on my book.
Yeah. I would love that. I've shared with you my thoughts, and hopefully, when it's out in Jordan, because I know it's out in some Arabic countries,
Mm-hmm.
Al-Imtilak is the Arabic translation. And hopefully, more and more people will get the book. I hope that the viewers and the people who are my subscribers to, on my platforms would all get the book, whether in English or Arabic. And for sure, I promise to be sharing their feedback with you. I'll send it to you all. And hopefully, that hopefully, and I'm sure that this book will change a lot of people's lives and bring comfort and happiness and peace and a lot of fortune for sure. I truly, truly appreciate you taking the time. I know it's probably 10 p.m. by you right now in South Korea.
Yes.
So thank you for taking the time for this interview. It means a lot to me. I'm very happy to have had this time. My deepest, deepest respect to Soyun Lee. Please pass her my respect and thank her so much for taking the time to answer my questions. I really appreciate it. And hopefully one day I meet her. One day that
Yes.
this connection will happen. And for my viewers, I highly, highly recommend that you all get the book in Arabic or in English and see how this will truly transform your life and make you wealthy. Thank you so much. I wish you a very good night. Take care of yourself
Thank you.
and hopefully we'll stay in touch in the future.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.